The educational use of technologies is a huge body of knowledge. Microsoft's research has helped us identify this can be summarised into 3 Ps. Practices, that is the possibilities that technologies enable. Processes, that is the structures that allow technologies to be organised and used. And platforms, the hardware and software that allows teachers to create learning activities. These somehow are situated around the concept of the environment within which all of this occurs. But this spatial aspect remains somewhat elusive. The SAMR model provides some illumination since it focuses on actual use of technologies in the classroom. It argues teachers can use technology to substitute other didactic approaches. Teachers can use technologies to augment teaching practices with the aim of improvement to processes and practices. It argues teachers can use technologies to modify their practices, to alter and refine how teaching and learning can happen. And it argues that teachers can use technologies to redefine learning, to change substantially existing established practices and processes. Like the 3 Ps, SAMR illuminates but does not address the missing element of the environment. How does the physical space contribute to understanding technology use in learning spaces? Both theoretically, the 3 Ps, or in terms of actual practices, SAMR. In response, the emerging ILETC spatial technologies typology is an unashamed attempt to simplify the use of technologies in learning spaces to their simplest form, allowing room then for instance, the 3 Ps or SAMR to delve into nuances of the phenomenon within this basic typological construct. Our typology argues the use of technologies within a physical space is most easily explained using a 4-way matrix not dissimilar to the furniture typology. On one axis is the student organised across an alone group continuum, and on the other axis is the technology organised across an anchored or flexible continuum. We argue this is as simple as we can be while allowing the construct to house and provide for later amplification the massive knowledge firms like Microsoft have built over the decades. The typology is based on a basic teaching situation. When a teacher walks into a learning space, she needs answers to 2 simple questions. What technologies does this space actually offer? And second, how could I potentially use these technologies? The individual or anchored section recognises that some spaces provide locked-in technologies that, through lack of connectivity and movability, means student learning is largely static and individual. The obvious example is wired desktop computers or 3-dimensional printers that require workshop facilities. The individual to flexible section recognises that some spaces provide technologies that are flexible, for example video cameras, laptop computers, that are still basically individual in terms of how they are normally used. The group to anchored section recognises that some spaces provide technologies that allow for group work but are locked into place, that have limited capacity to change in terms of where they are used. Examples would include the wall-mounted LED screen, network-connected desktop computers, electronic whiteboards, and various specialty applications. Group or flexible recognises that some spaces provide technologies that are adaptable in use and facilitate shared learning. Examples would be wireless linked devices such as virtual reality headsets, linked laptops and desktop computers, and file sharing applications. The technologies typology acts as a missing link between the reality of teachers with limited technology understanding, with schools with poor infrastructures, and with the huge possibilities that technologies can provide. It is intended, like all of the typologies, to be a portal to deeper understanding and action in terms of manipulating learning spaces for increased student learning.